All right, guys, it's Monday. It's time for the college basketball show. Great week for me last week, 17-7. I was number one on WagerTalk over the last 7 days. I do have a 5% play tonight, but I'll talk about that later. We're going to get right into it, and I'm going to give you one of my client plays, which I like to do when I can, when I come on this show. And so we're going to head out to the Degenerate Special, the Drew Martin Bets Degenerate Special, the last game to tip off tonight in Vegas in the WCC tournament, the semifinal game between Gonzaga and San Francisco. And I've got to ride with the Dons here. A week ago, a little bit over a week ago, I played San Francisco in the season finale. They were playing Gonzaga. They got crushed in that game, 95-75. However, I came back with San Fran last night. They rolled over Washington State. And I've decided that if you're going to give me 14.5 points with this San Francisco team, I've just got to ride with them. And this is a 4% play for me. So I've got 3 plays at WagerTalk tonight, all client plays. 4% I'm giving you for free on the show. San Francisco plus 14.5. So a couple things of why I really like San Francisco in this spot. One, it's known that Marcus Williams is out for San Francisco. That's been known since before the tournament. So that's over-baked into the number here, okay? Like, the books know. It was known last night. That's more than priced in, and I almost think it's priced in too much. Yes, he's important to their team. He averages 15.1 points per game. He's a great ball handler. All of those things are true, but if you watch the game last night, Ryan Beasley was awesome. Stepped right in his place, played extended minutes, scored 29 points against Washington State, and I think that's what you have to do in situations like this, where Sam knows a guy is going to be out. Who's playing the minutes in his place? And Beasley looked pretty good last night. He's been solid all year, and he's a guy that's been in the rotation for them. He plays plenty. He's just getting more minutes. He looked up for it last night. So I don't think that there's a huge, I don't think there's a huge drop-off, and it's not something I'm willing to change the number significantly, but it does feel like the odds makers are doing that with this number. So that's really the first reason that I think there's tons of value on San Francisco. Second, my thing was, what's San Francisco going to do offensively last night? So as I'm making a case for them against Washington State last night, I had to look and I had to say, okay, is Williams being out going to really negatively impact them on offense against a Washington State team that doesn't defend particularly well? San Francisco went 6 of 25 from 3, and they still put up 86 points. So they shot it poorly from 3, still dropped 86, still won easily. And the reason that's important is because Gonzaga does struggle defensively against good offensive teams. And, so I think San Francisco is going to be able to score here. If you go back to the meeting last Saturday, San Francisco didn't really have a hard time scoring. They just gave up 95 points. I mean, Gonzaga shot nearly 60% from the field, which is always a concern. I mean, this is a Gonzaga offense that's still like a top 10 offense nationally. But again, it's still not easy to shoot 60%. Now you're, different venue. I don't know that it's a gimme or like a given that Gonzaga is going to come out and shoot 60% here. And even if they do, I don't think it's a guarantee that San Francisco can't hang with them in that setting. I do think, Gonzaga maybe looking ahead to tomorrow a little bit. Like, this is weird because usually Gonzaga comes into this tournament, can play very loose and free the first game. They know it's not going to really matter. They're going to get to the second game, be a big favorite. But they've got to have an eye on St. Mary's tomorrow. St. Mary's will win easily tonight. They're going to have a pretty much a no contest in tonight's game against Pepperdine. So, if this does get late in the game, Gonzaga's up 9 or 10, I could see them kind of just walking it up the court, taking their win and moving on. Something that should be pointed out when you're dealing with a spread of 14.5. But what this really comes down to for me, Gonzaga, they do struggle to defend good offenses. San Francisco, even without Williams, I think this is a top 100 offense nationally. They showed us last night they can score without him, put up 86 points, and didn't even shoot it particularly well. There's a lot of upside with San Fran. They have nothing to lose. They got the win they needed last night. Now they can just kind of go out and play ball. They're a 14.5 point underdog, and I think that plays in their favor here. So numbers too big in my opinion. I made this closer to 10, 14.5. I decided to take a shot with the Dons here one more time. And this is a 4% client play for me. San Francisco plus 14.5. I've got a 5%er tonight. My 5%ers are crushed, 6-2 in the last 8. I hit my first one of March, my first one of conference tournament season on Friday with Georgia State plus 7.5. Easy winner. They should have won that game outright. And I've got another one that goes tonight. So I need you to jump on that with me. WT.buzz/AT. That's up on my page as part of my card tonight. 3 plays out in total. Just gave you one of them here. Also, please like and subscribe to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. And please check out On the Clock, where I talked about 3 different games. So we're gonna break down 2 here. I've got 3 different ones on the clock, on the clock, and I've got 3 client plays for tonight. I'll tell you what, if I was going to add a 4th, it's going to be this game most likely. So who knows? Maybe you get 2 of them. Have not bet this yet, but we're going to head to the Horizon League for semifinal action in the Horizon between Youngstown State and Cleveland State. And sorry, just toggling my odds here. I'm seeing a line of 2.5 right now. The line is probably right, but there's a couple of things I want to point out. I will say I like Cleveland State here. I was kind of hoping to get this in a situation where I could play the money line. I feel like the books did a good job. So this is on a neutral floor in Indianapolis. I was hoping that Youngstown would get a little bit more love for the name. Of course, Youngstown's really been like one of the top teams in this league the past few years. Jared Calhoun is now at Utah State. So this isn't like quite as good of a Youngstown team as the past couple of years. Offensively, they're really not good at all. Like if you go back and look at the offensive teams that Youngstown's had in the past couple of years, like this is not that. They rank outside the top 250 nationally, and they've been without EJ Farmer, who's one of their better offensive players. So, they're a team that I want to bet against. The problem with Cleveland State right now is they need to figure out how to make shots again. You go back 3 weeks, they were going to run away with this league, and they really fizzled down the stretch. The reason they fizzled down the stretch is because they haven't made shots, and this has been going on for a couple weeks now. And so that's kind of my concern with laying points with Cleveland State. Why I think Cleveland State's going to win regardless, they play really, really good defense. This is a solid defensive team, and their defensive pressure is why they're good defensively. And Youngstown, not the best ball handlers. They will turn it over. I could see a scenario where Cleveland State's, kind of forcing turnovers and getting points off turnovers. Because Youngstown, what they will do, similar to what Youngstown teams have done in years past, they play a very free-flowing, open offensive style. It's quick. There's no real rules, but it does get sloppy at times. And sometimes they play too fast for their own good. And that's one thing Cleveland State can really exploit. So, again, I wanted Cleveland State around pick. I would have been happy with Cleveland State in a scenario where I could have maybe money lined like minus 125, minus 130. A little bit tough to stomach in the minus 140, minus 145 range. But like for me, it would be Cleveland State or pass. Again, at 2.5, it's kind of a lean, but I really think their defensive pressure is going to be the difference in this game. And if Cleveland State is hitting their shots, which they've got guys like Tevin Jones, Tevin Smith, Stavesky, Dylan Arnett, who could all put the ball in the basket, Cleveland State will probably win this one easy. So I lean Cleveland State. This is the one that hasn't made my card yet that I'm really looking at closely. But San Francisco plus 14.5 is a client play, and I do have a 5% play tonight up on my page at WagerTalk right now, WT.buzz/AT, that I think you should ride with me because we've had a really good conference tournament season so far, and there's still plenty of conference tourney games. So we're going to cash another one tonight. Hope everyone had a great day, and I'll see you guys back here with more free picks in the morning.